Now that Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga is making a return on the 3DS, it would be the best time to look at the game itself. This action-adventure role-playing game developed by Alpha Dream was originally released for the Game Boy Advance in November 2003. It is the first game in the Mario & Luigi series, and it all takes place in the Bean Bean Kingdom, where Mario and Luigi are chasing down the villains Cacletta and Fawful to retrieve Princess Peach's voice. Now obviously, we're not going to look at the normal stuff in the game, we are talking about the things that didn't make it into the game, mostly scrapped items and characters.
First up, Starbean's Cafe.
There is a large amount of leftover text and sprites, which suggests that originally each drink you made in the Starbean's Cafe was supposed to trigger a cameo by a different Nintendo character, instead of just egad. For example, Wario, who has a ton of animations like drinking, picking his nose, laughing, and even shocked. Now, besides this character, there are a lot more that were supposed to be seen, like Fox McCloud, Olimar Pigman, Samus, Excitebike Racer, and Link. The gift you get when you make a new drink was also supposed to be specific to the character's cameos. It's unknown why they didn't put them in the game, since almost everything is there and just needed some final polish. Overall, a bit weird that they left all of this out. Now, inside the files are a ton of other unused characters and items, but we aren't sure what they wanted to do with them, like this unknown round object in pink, blue, and yellow. They could be early badge models since they highly resemble the badges seen in-game, although the badges in-game are all pink. So maybe they would come in different colors, and maybe they even had a certain special effect or stats.
Now for something else. Now some of the characters that weren't used might be familiar to you, since there are also some alternate versions. Like this one, it appears to be an early Lady Lima. Clearly, she's a lot slimmer, looks younger, and has more decorations on her outfit. They probably replaced it because they wanted to go with a more old lady hunched over look. It seems to be the only possibility really. Now there's also an alternate palette for Bodless Assistant. The biggest difference this time is the color. It's more reddish. Yet again, this was changed because of design choices. Now an unused Cloak Beanish character is also found in the files. However, we aren't sure what they were planning to do with him. He looks pretty cool and the animations are flawless. However, there aren't any of him moving or performing an action. So because of this, it was most likely scrapped early on in development, and that's why there are only 2 animations, which are both idols. Now for some enemies that didn't make it in the game. First up, some interesting Goomba variants. First up, we have the Mossy Goomba and the Pop Goomba. They are blue and red palette swaps of the normal Goomba enemy, and it has stats lower than the average version. These were most likely certain types that would be used in special levels or areas, but in the end, they weren't needed. Besides these 2, we also have a bit of a classic one, the Para Goomba, which has lower than average stats. We aren't sure why they didn't put this one in. There are also some sprites and animations for an enemy with a little more firepower. A different Bill Blaster and Bullet. This one is taller and has a longer attack animation. There's also a Golden Bullet Bill, which is known as Bombshell Bill in some Paper Mario games. It could be that they wanted this enemy to return in this game, but ended up not implementing it. Why is unknown. Now there's also something odd in a room on the Koopa Cruiser. In the place where battles with Goombas are available, there is a disabled save block able to be programmed back in. It is fully functional and saves the game like it's supposed to, although the game displays glitchy text for the area in which it displays where you saved at. We don't know why they removed it, but it must have been late during development since it all works and is in place. It's actually kinda sad that they left it out since nothing is wrong with it. Oh well, luckily enough it's only a save point.
Inside the files is also a room that's not seen in the game and would never appear in it, no matter what the developers would do. It's a debug room that was used for testing certain functions of the game, and when you enter the room, you start in the left map with Mario alone. It's possible to leave through the northern part of the stage and immediately return with Luigi though. Returning with Luigi alters the level somewhat, or perhaps takes you to a different room. The map is filled with all kinds of odd things, like a beanie that immediately begins a battle with a Goomba when you touch it, there is new music, and a lot more things. Now, this place would have been used to test all kinds of things, but chances are that a lot of the functions tested were removed at some point. However, it's still a fun place to see, since you normally never see it in the game. Now, there is also something really weird in the files. Graphics and a tile map for a Wrecking Crew-like scene. Wrecking Crew is a 1985 action game developed and published by Nintendo. It was designed by Yoshio Sakamoto and released as a launch title for the NES. The player controls Mario and attempts to destroy all of a certain set of objects with a large hammer on each of 100 levels. However, there is no proper method of accessing this scene, so we can't really take a good look at it. The only possibility we can think of is that one of the game's main weapons is a hammer, and it would have made a fun minigame featuring those hammers. However, going so far to refer to a game that was over 15 years old back then seems a little far-fetched. So as you can clearly see, there are some really weird things in the files. Thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoyed our little beta video. There are more videos to come, and at least one video every Friday, so if you enjoyed this one, why not hit that sick red button and subscribe? We'd appreciate it.